Welcome to this week's edition of Hawk Talk. My name is Parker Robinson. I'm joined by co-host Seth Moorkirky. We're going to hop right into things with the Blue Feather focus. The Blue Feather Athletic Association, the funding body of the DSU Heritage Foundation, brings student athletes onto Dickinson State's campus. And we're joined by one of those today. Why don't you introduce yourself, where you're from, and what sports you're playing?
I'm Natalie Hafer. I'm from Rapid City, South Dakota, and I am currently on the basketball team and the golf team.
Yeah, you initially came here to play golf.
Mm-hmm.
What was that decision like coming here playing for Coach O'Donnell?
I had offers other places, but as soon as I met that, I just kind of knew that this would be a fun school to play at.
Yeah, definitely. And like you mentioned, also joining the basketball team, you didn't play last year. Coming back to basketball, how did you miss it last year? What was that feeling?
Yeah, I felt like I was on the wrong side of the court, sitting in the stands watching. I felt like I should be on the bench hopefully on the court, not the bench, but
with the team.
Yeah, and just the team aspect of it, I really like having that cohesive group of people to be around.
Definitely.
Yeah, the team aspect, what is it like with, kind of a younger team this year? How have you guys adapted? How are you feeling with the team?
We all get along really, really well. It is weird because we're all new and coming from different places, and so it's taken a little bit to get to know everybody, but we try to get together and do things and get to know each other better.
Yeah, and we talked about it with Coach Lewis before the show. You guys have had a lot of time to get to know each other on the bus rides, going to Bellevue, going to wherever it be. How tough is that, though, at the same time, sitting on a bus for 12 hours and getting up and trying to play?
We're pretty good about stopping and practicing, and we shoot around before our game. So for the most part, we're all pretty warmed up and ready to go by the time the game comes around.
Oh, definitely. And then on the other side of things, how is that relationship building opportunity on those trips?
It's good. Most of us sleep most of the bus ride, but when we're awake, we play Uno and we talk and giggle and watch movies and things. So, yeah.
Definitely. Like we mentioned, two sports. What was it like kind of balancing that earlier in the year and then now going into the spring season, going back into that crossover?
It's taken a lot of work with professors and things just because, I'm gone and then they think I'm going to be back and I'm like, jokes, I'm going to be gone again for basketball. So it's just got to keep on top of things academically.
Yeah. And how helpful were Coach Lewis and Coach O'Donnell in helping you, work those two practice schedules along with school?
Oh, it was really good. I was able to go to golf practice and then go to conditioning for basketball, and things worked around so I could do both.
And so now that you're back on the court, back in that, how are you feeling about your game? How are you feeling about kind of the team finally coming together later in the season and getting some cohesion there?
Yeah, I think we're starting to figure out how to click together. I've been out for almost 2 years for basketball, so I've had to work on bringing my skill level back up. But the girls, we all push each other to get better, and we all try to work really hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like Seth mentioned, a lot of young players on that team, and so looking forward into next year and the year after, a lot of returners coming back. Does that kind of give you some optimism looking forward to the next few years?
Yeah, by next year we should all be able to play together really, really well. And we're already progressively getting better together, working as a team.
So you've been at Dickinson State for a year and a half now. Do you have a single memory that stands out where it's like, oh, that was my favorite moment as a Blue Hawk or whatever it may be?
I just kind of go day by day, moment by moment. All of it's been fun. I really like everybody here. Just everything seems so family oriented. Our golf team is all the girls are really close, and the boys all seem to be really close. And our basketball team, we're all, starting to get to know each other. It's just more of a family than anything.
The weather certainly helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, along with that kind of golf, obviously, in North Dakota is not the most advantageous to that. Have you been, working on the game, getting in the simulator, doing those kind of things as long?
Yeah. The whole team goes in and out of the simulator all winter so that we get to swing a little bit here and there, work on swing path more than anything. But.
Yep, definitely. Looking forward towards the end of this season, only a couple more games at Scott Gymnasium. We got to kind of cherish those moments. What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, we've only got 3 left, but you know, being at home and having that home crowd and not, you know, having to travel is really nice, and just come out ready to play. Good things will happen.
And definitely Natalie and her teammates will be on the road this weekend, but next weekend they're finally returning to Scott Gym. So make sure you find your way out there. Yeah. For anyone on the fence of coming out, what would you tell them, you know, to come out and watch a women's basketball team?
Yeah, just come out, cheer us on. You know, any team can win on any night. So, you know, we have Jamestown this weekend, and I personally think it'll be a fight. You know, we're going to come out ready to play. So.
Good. Definitely. So make sure you keep up on those actions this weekend at dsubluehawks.com and come out to Scott Gym next weekend. Thanks for coming on, Natalie.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And then we'll be back with Natalie's coach, Coach Lewis. Welcome back to Hawk Talk. This time on the other side of things with the coach. You know, we talked to your player about being on the road for quite some time. What's that like in terms of being a coach?
It's you know, it's tough. It's tough being on the road and the long bus trips, and not only the planning that goes into it to make sure we, you know, eat when we need to and that we have hotels and everything. But it's just tough being on the road, driving 10 hours for one game. It is, and you know, it was nice though because Coach Vaughn has his connections at NDSU, and so we were able to stop there and practice. And it was honestly one of our best practices. I don't know if it had something to do with just being at NDSU or what it was, but it was one of our best practices. We looked really good, but it's nice that they get off the bus and able to stretch their legs and get a good meal and everything like that, and then get back on the bus, because 10 hours, that's a long drive down in one day, and then to recover and then play, and then, you know, drive back. And we really stress with our girls, you know, their eating habits on the road and things like that, because as you know, it can be a little bit rough stopping at gas stations and stuff, and the food that they choose to put into their body. But the biggest thing we stress to them is hydration, because you get dehydrated and things like that, and it's just good for us to stress those things with our kids, especially our young ones. But it wears on you, especially back to back, having 2 10-hour bus rides back to back and things. So, but it's part of the college experience, and you know, it's you got to learn to take challenges the way they come and do the best you can with them.
It's one of the longer seasons that we have at Dickinson State, you know, spanning from October all the way into February. You know, how important is it to keep fresh and keep healthy throughout that whole time?
It's funny because we talked about that today, a little bit of practices. It is a long season, especially for freshmen who have never experienced a long season. They're used to, you know, a 3-month season just coming and going and being done. And so we stress, you know, taking care of their bodies and icing and stretching and things like that, because it is, not only is it a long basketball career, but it's a long season. It is, and if you don't take care of your body, it's a lot of wear and tear.
Yeah.
You know, you talked about the 10-hour bus rides and, you know, the sleep and the nutrition. How important is, you know, practice, scheduling out practice, giving them a little rest, you know, off the 10 hours? You get home at 7:30, you talked about, and then you got to choose to sleep all day or not to sleep sleep at night. You know, how important is scheduling out your practices so that they find rest too?
I think it's very important. I mean, we got home, like you said, on Saturday at 7:30 a.m. and we gave them the whole day off and Sunday, 2 days to recover, because it throws your sleep schedule off, it throws your eating habits off and things like that. And then the last 2 days we've done some shooting and things like that. We're down in numbers with some injuries and some health issues and things, and so our biggest focus is getting healthy so that we have really strong and healthy bodies to put on the court this weekend. So it's good to be aware of those issues and things like that, and to take care of them as needed.
Right. You know, you have that young team throughout the year. What have you seen in terms of progression, you know, starting to build that cohesion and build towards something?
And that's the thing with our team, is we see flashes of brilliance. We do. We see flashes where we look really, really good. And we've got to be able to extend those flashes into a whole game. Even just against Bellevue on Friday, we had 3 or 4 minute stretch there where we looked great. We had fast break layups. We were boxing out. We were doing the things we were doing. We were executing our plays, and we went on a really good run. But then those minutes, you know, we turn around and let them go on a big run. And so we've just got to start. We need to start coming together in the sense of for consistency. We're not very consistent, and that's the thing that hurts us the most, is our consistency, and especially our shooting percentage. I mean, we shot just as many shots as Bellevue did. They took 61 shots. We took 61 shots. They did get to the free throw line a little bit more than we did, and rebounding, they only out-rebounded us by a couple, but we struggle with consistency and putting the ball in the hole. We missed layups, we missed open in rhythm threes, and it really, really hurt us. And so we've got to start stepping up and doing that. As far as coming together, we're doing the best we can as far as that goes, and the girls are playing hard. And that's the thing, I am very proud of my group of girls because we don't give up. We play hard, and that's something I'm very, very proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about it with Natalie a little bit. Home stretch here, only 3 more home games, and on the January 28th, celebrating a special person to DSU women's basketball.
Yes, we're very excited for our home stretch. I mean, the schedule, when I saw the schedule, I was kind of disappointed in the fact that we played so many home games in the first semester and then only 3 in the second semester, and that's only because we were able to switch 1 game with Jamestown to get a home game because we only had 2. And so it's nice that we at least get 3 games, but we have some special events coming up, like you said. We are celebrating a very special person who I didn't get the opportunity to coach her, but I've heard nothing but amazing things about this young lady, Janae Moore, who played here a few years ago, and so we will be celebrating her and the great things that she accomplished on January 28th when we played Dakota State.
Yeah, and not only that, her parents will be in town, celebrate that, and then a social at the DSU Heritage Foundation house following the men's game.
Yes.
So just a lot of good things going on with the women's basketball program in that sense. We talked about it with Natalie as well. Not a lot of no seniors actually. So everyone coming back. You'll have Peyton Herbst, the whole crew back next year. How fun will that be to see some returners and see some familiar faces in next year and moving forward?
I'm actually very excited to have some returners back on the floor and everything like that, to have that pride in being a Blue Hawk. And that's what we're really excited about, having those kids back that have been here, that understand and know what we expect. And so we're looking forward to that, looking forward to them being here. And a little bit more on the Janae Moore night. We're just very excited that her family will be in town, and we actually have some past teammates. One is flying in from Australia that just happens to be here that weekend. That'll be awesome. at the game. But we're really looking forward to some of those, and we'll honor them during halftime and everything, and talk to them a little bit afterwards at the social, and they can interact with our girls and start to, have that pride in being a Blue Hawk. And I think that really comes in play with the returners and things like that. We've actually had Lorna Shepard has been practicing with us from the team last year, and we've brought in some returners from last year's team that have come in and practiced with us, and it's been really good for our girls to see that maturity, to see that pride in the school and in this program. And so I think it'll be really, really good building upon that foundation over the next couple of years.
Yeah, and I know Janae was kind of a phenomenal person, a phenomenal Blue Hawk, and that kind of percolates into what the Theodore Roosevelt Honor Leadership Program does. And so, from your point of view, Seth, being in the program, what have you seen her legacy leave and what you guys do? Yeah,
Janae's kind of been one of those people that you look at as, representation of the TR program and the basketball program, kind of just the DSU person that you look towards. But, with the texting and driving awareness campaign that they do in the spring, just all of the stuff that surrounds her legacy it's really great to have someone to look to who is such an incredible model of being a DSU, athlete, DSU student, and part of the TR program, just a well-rounded individual.
Yeah, so definitely look forward to that January 28th. Make sure you come out next weekend. 2 games, if I'm not wrong.
We have 2 games. We got Bellevue and Dakota State on the 27th and 28th.
Yeah, yeah. So let's make Scott Jim loud again.
Let's
get back at it. So make sure you find your way there. Check out dsubluehawks.com for all the latest on those away games. And then we'll be back talking a little track and field.
Life is full of many successes, achievements, stages. Every year we grow, things change, and pretty soon we realize we want and need to do more. When you're ready for that next step, Dickinson State University will get you there. Find out how at dsublue.com.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk for another Blue Feather Focus. This time joined by an athlete just starting a new season. Go ahead and introduce yourself and where you're from.
My name is Thomas Cease. I'm from Bismarck, North Dakota. I came here 4 years ago, and I got 2 seasons left to track.
Yeah, definitely. And, a two-sport athlete like we had Natalie earlier. You know, a crazy football season, a lot of fun, a lot of ups and downs. But you know, looking back on your 4 years on the field, you know, what are you going to remember most from that time?
For me, I think it's just really about the great people that surround our program. I mean, throughout my 4 years, I feel like I've had great teammates, great coaches. The boosters are extremely supportive, and that's just something that I feel like a lot of programs don't have.
Right.
And that's just something that I'm extremely grateful for.
Yeah, and putting a cap on your career, you know, you finished with All-American, Cliff Harris Award nominees, National Player of the Year nominees,
Leading
and
tackler.
leading tackler in DSU history. Looking back on all of your accomplishments, you know, what are you going to take away from that? What do you take most pride in?
Well, I mean, the individual accomplishments, I mean, don't really mean much. Football is a team sport, and I firmly believe that, and I'm a firm person who tries to put the team first. So for me, it's just the experience with my teammates and the journey throughout the process is the part that I really will enjoy and remember the most.
Yeah, definitely. And then stepping into your track and field season, you know, what's kind of that transition period like, recovering from football, getting healthy again, and then getting in shape for a little different sports and going to that?
It's tough. I mean, it's a completely different mindset, more maintenance and all that, but it's good. We have a really competitive team this year, boys and girls, or men's and women's, I guess. But yeah, as a team, I know we're just looking forward. We competed this past weekend at Black Hills. We had some good performances, and in 2 weeks we head to UND, and we're just excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, stepping into that side of things, you know, you guys have been successful indoor, outdoor track as well, a couple conference championships there. You know, how does kind of the team aspect of that go into pushing each other to keep getting better every week?
I mean, it's competitive. We got an extremely competitive team. We got a lot of depth, which is something that we haven't had in the past couple of years. So just having that depth at practice really helps push guys get to the next level. And then on the women's side, I guess they're kind of all on their own, so they're doing their thing.
Yeah.
You know, you're a well decorated athlete on the track, you know, track and field side of things too. You know, you do quite a few events, tend to be exact, out in the outdoor. You know, you're a great hurdler, great, you know, sprinter, great javelin thrower. What's your favorite event, would you say?
I would say my favorite is pole vault. I started once I got to college. I had a great coach, and Coach McElvaney, and he just kind of taught me the ropes, and it's just one that I really enjoy.
Yeah, DSU Hall of Famer McElvaney there. What have you learned kind of from him and all the other people that have kind of helped out with the program throughout the years?
Really just how to conduct yourself as a good teammate and a good person. Those are the main things you take away. And then in addition to that, just work ethic, coming to practice every day, whether practice or school, just showing up and being the best person you can possibly be.
Yeah, and you have Coach Walker, you know, on the football side of things, Coach Walker on the track side of things. How does he, you know, compare and contrast from football and track?
I would say that he's a lot more intense in track. I mean, he doesn't actually specifically coach me playing defense, but he's a very intense guy when it comes to track, and that's something that a lot of people don't have on the track side, and it's something that I personally enjoy and I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and how do you kind of see that throughout the track program and just kind of the push for excellence and the expectation of that?
Yeah, and I think that's something that you need. I think you need to set the bar high, and you need to set the standard, and so everyone knows and is accountable. And yeah, it's just something that is going to help us out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you guys go on the road, like you said, in 2 weeks, head up to UND. And I mean, there's no indoor right here. So, you know, what's that like going on the bus every week and going out there?
I mean, it's tough. By the end of the indoor season, you're a little bit worn down, but it all gets better once you get to go outside and get to see the sun a little bit. But we're just kind of trying to focus on this 2 week span we have off, getting better every day, and just leading up to conference.
Yeah, and how important is it? I mean, conference is kind of the bar every year for the program right now. How important is it to stay healthy all the way through that point?
Oh, it's extremely important. I mean, that's the thing about track. It's not exactly what you're doing when you're at practice. It's more about what you're doing when you're not at practice. Just the maintenance and making sure your body's right and all that. And that's something that Coach Walker really does a good job of stressing to the team.
Yeah, and as you look forward to this indoor and outdoor track season, you know, any personal goals that we should be watching for?
I have no personal goals as a team. I hope our men and women both win the conference championship. But besides that, I just want to contribute to the team and do the best that I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we look forward to seeing it. You can check out all of Tommy's results on dsubluehawks.com. And, you know, we'll be definitely watching. So thanks for coming on, Tommy.
So much.
Like I said, check everything out, dsubluehawks.com, dsuheritagefoundation.org. Give to DSU week coming up February 8th through the 18th. The bike-a-thon at the West River Community Center. If you have a club or org that's interested in raising some money for DSU, contact the DSU Heritage Foundation. Other than that, we'll see you next week. Hawks are up and Skull.